Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
Sign, white lines, long drive and I'm feeling something holding me back. Cut ties, no lies inside, and I never meant to say that. My eyes wide, all running high, seaside, and I never wanna go back.
Hi, and thanks for tuning in to Dirt Bike's Project Dual Sport video series. This is a little bit different from most of our other videos. We shoot these from the perspective of people who have built very special dual sport bikes. In this case, I get to talk about my 2020 KTM 500 EXC. This is the exact bike that won our 2020 dual sport shootout. I purchased it directly from KTM right after the shootout and then basically didn't ride it. It doesn't always make sense for a magazine editor to own a dual sport bike with so many test bikes coming and going. But in this case, it made perfect sense. There are so many rules regarding test bikes. For one thing, we can't take them outside of the country. We're not supposed to modify them. So it makes sense for me to actually own one. And every year or so, every couple of years, I actually buy a bike, work with it a little while, and then kind of move on. This bike is one that's really special. I'm definitely going to hold on to it. The build on this bike was inspired by the KTM 350 EXC that Jay Clark built for himself. It was on the cover of the May 2021 print issue of Dirt Bike. You'll probably see that bike in a later edition of the Dirt Bike Dual Sport Projects video series. One of the principal sources for the parts on that bike was Mike Spurgeon at Taco Moto in Las Vegas. Mike is a hardcore dual sport fanatic. Most of the parts that sell dual sport parts usually fall into one of two categories. Either they're just moving Chinese bling parts, or they're race shops that convert dual sport bikes into full competition motorcycles. Mike isn't either one of those. He rides dual sport bikes, learns how to make them better, and makes the parts to accomplish that. As good as it is, there's lots of room for improvement on the stock EXC. We went to town on the 500 EXC, fixing all the traditional sore points. These things include the fragile license plate bracket, the blinkers that fall off, the preposterously oversized handlebar switches, the weak, ill-pointed headlight, and the clumsy fuel tank connectors. Mike and Chris Vestal at Moto-Minded have solutions for all these things before you ever start talking about performance. One particularly clever design that Mike came up with was to convert the charcoal canister into a coolant overflow tank. He admits that some of these parts don't comply with official DOT specifications. They do, however, pass the practicality test. The blinkers aren't in the traditional locations, but everybody knows exactly which way you're going to turn. If a highway patrolman gives you a fix-it ticket for any of this stuff, more than likely, it's really about your bad behavior, not anything about the bike. As far as performance goes, everyone should be aware that the bike is tuned to meet sound and emission standards, and that it's no longer legal if you tamper with that stuff. I tampered with that stuff. Come and take me away. installed a GET ECU with a map that Mike developed for the FMF RCT 4.1 slip-on muffler. It goes without saying that I had to switch tires. At the suggestion of Jay, I gave the Dunlop 950 DOT Trials tire a try. This is a fully legal tire on the road and is said to get excellent traction on hard-packed dirt and rocks. It isn't very good in mud and sand, which I try to avoid. The wheels are from Nacstar simply because I believe in having 2 sets of wheels for any dual sport bike. You don't want to burn your good rubber on the pavement. When you install real off-road tires on the KTM, you have to install rim locks and balance the wheels. I use Tacomoto's wheel weight kit with 1 rim lock in each tire. There are a number of other products and companies involved here, all used with Mike's advice. The fuel tank is IMS, the mirrors are from Double Take, the skid plate is from a company called Molecule, some of the switches are from SAR, Works Connection, TM Designs, Super Sprox, Hinson, Recluse, Moto Seat, Tusk, ODI, Enduro Engineering, and UFO all are represented somewhere. I use Racetech to rework the suspension. The fork is a WP Explorer, which uses a split design, 2 coil springs, but all the rebound is in the right, the compression is in the left. Racetech redesigned that whole system to put the compression clickers on the top of both sides, the rebound on the bottom, much more like a conventional fork. I've only ridden the bike a few times since completion, but I already know it's incredible. It's fast, it's smooth, and the EFI mapping is flawless. There's a map switch with the GET ECU that allows me to switch mufflers and have mapping that is specifically tuned for either the quiet pipe, which is the stock one, or the FMF. Either way, depends on where I'm riding and how much noise I want to make. Sometimes you just got to make a little racket. There's a full story coming in the print edition of Dirt Bike Magazine. And as always, come back to dirtbikemagazine.com and our YouTube channel for more of the Dual Sport series, and check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.